Are you afraid you're going to run out of money in retirement? A lot of people are. It's the biggest fear, according to a lot of studies. I don't have enough to retire. Why not? Because I'm going to run out. People are more fearful of running out of money in retirement than they are dying. But there's hope. Today, I'm going to cover 3 different concepts that should alleviate some fear. One of my fears is now entering the room. Tony Shore, welcome to the show, Tony. My favorite co-host. Tony, do you still feel that people are afraid of running out of money in retirement? Do you get that sense from people you talk to your age that are looking to retire?
Yes. Only in the fact that I think it's leaned a little more toward, I am afraid I'll never have enough to retire.
Yeah.
I hear more about the amount, like, I'm not going to have enough to retire, or what I hear, I think the most, now other financial advisors I've talked to and yourself in the past have told me, that's what you hear from clients, is a lot of advisors say they have a fear of running out of money. But what I hear is, well, I think I'm just going to have to keep working.
I'm going to work until I die.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like, I'm going to work until I'm just going to keep working and then rely on Social Security or whatever's in my 401k, and I should be fine. That's my plan. Keep working, Social Security and my 401k, and then all will be good. That's not a plan. And boy, with healthcare costs and inflation and the market fluctuations and people living longer, I just don't think that's a good plan. And companies more than ever are ageist. I see people at companies that I work with, that other people work with, where once you're in your 60s, they're kind of, a lot of companies will nudge you out and hire a younger person who's
Maybe
less
they're just
expensive.
trying to get you to do what everyone's in their 80s is saying. I wish I retired earlier. You rarely hear people say, I wish I worked longer.
Right.
But I think the fear of running out is a huge, huge problem.
Yeah.
But I got some ideas, Tony. I have some ideas, 3 that I want to share.
Yeah. Everything I said relates to the fear of not having enough money.
I
though.
think
it
so.
all
I
is
think
the
people,
same.
Right. They don't want to retire. They don't think they're going to have to work forever. They don't want to pull the trigger on retirement because they're afraid they don't have enough. And what do they mean by don't have enough? I'm going to run out. I'm going to be destitute. I'm going to be a burden on my children.
Right.
What if this? What if that? Right. So what do? How do we get people to overcome that fear? Because I have clients that are retired that still have this fear, and they hired me to help them. They still have the fear. You know who you are. You watch this podcast. You might be saying, how do I alleviate this? And I'm going to go through 3 today. So first, number 1, Tony, in no particular order, but I do like to start with this. I've done this. I've said this 20 years now. You start with a solid baseline income. You create your foundation. You start there and say, what is my baseline income? You know who doesn't complain or fearful about running out of money? Your grandfather wasn't fearful of running out of money.
No.
Right? That generation, the silent generation, even a lot of the boomers, they didn't fear running out of money. Why? Because they had a pension. Yeah. A lot of them had a pension.
Yeah, my son's his generation is already saying, oh, I don't think I'm going to have enough money to retire, which is the fear of not having enough money or running out of money. And he's 26, right. So he's more concerned about not having enough money to ever own a home. But that leads into having enough money to be able to save for retirement once he pays off his student loans. And it's a whole new ballgame, isn't it?
Yes. Well, no, I don't think so. I think there's always been a fear.
The same principles apply?
I think so, but I think what's changed is the way people approach it. In the past, people didn't have a choice. You got your pension and gold watch. That was the play.
Yeah.
You weren't negotiating a 401k because they didn't exist. Right? You weren't worried about it. And when we get to number 3, that'll address your son's concern. But I think starting with the baseline income. All right, Dan, I don't have a pension. Well, we've done shows. You can create your own. You can create your own pension. A lot of people, given the pension option, they'll take the lump sum. They like that money. They like that, win the lottery.
They see that big number in their bank account. Yes. That's what people like, yeah.
And then they worry they won't have enough. It's going to run out. Whereas if they take the pension from their employer or the lotto, they won't run out, right? By design. But people don't like that.
And that's
So you got to get
baseline
over that.
income are those guaranteed sources of income
Yes.
that are like annuities, like Social Security is one, right?
Social Security. Yes. Social
That-
Security is the biggie. Just start with that because that's a guaranteed lifetime income with the cost of living increase. Okay. So to maximize it. But again, we've done shows on it. Very, very popular show.
yeah.
I'm going to delay Social Security by raiding my 401k, my IRA. What are you, crazy, Dan? I'm going to spend down my hard-earned savings just to get more from Social Security. Who knows if I'll even live to get it back? Well, then understand that you're always going to be fearful of running out of money because you didn't raise your baseline income. The higher you can get your baseline income, Social Security, the less fear you'll have of running out because Social Security is going to be there for the whole life. It stops when you die, but why not build it up? So people don't want to give up the control of the asset, but they like this pension income. They like this guaranteed income. So my first suggestion to people, if you're fearful of running out of money, consider building that baseline, consider delaying Social Security. Maybe the math doesn't work out, but sometimes the feeling you get from a higher baseline income offsets or even surpasses the downside of the math. You know what I mean, Tony?
Yeah, because you
okay,
sleep well at night.
you sleep well at night.
I
Right?
know for the rest of my life, I have X amount coming in each month, and that's enough to cover these basic needs and bills. So you don't have to worry about that aspect at some point if you have the proper plan. But you need that baseline income, and I don't think a lot of people know how to get that without working with a trusted financial services professional.
Well, even when I tell people this is what we need to do, delay Social Security, or let's turn some of your, let's buy a lifetime income annuity. Oh,
Hmm.
there's the 4-letter word, annuity.
Yeah, annuity.
Right? That turns people off. Okay,
Really
so
more
we'll
than
pivot.
4 letters, but okay.
You said you weren't going to do math, Tony. All right. Let's move on to number 2 because people get this. They've heard me talk about this for 20 years. Number 2, Tony, is the secret. This is a secret little tip that we're going to go through.
Let's hear today's secret to retirement success.
Know that your plans will change. Okay. So this is crazy. I talk about this a lot about, the key to retirement success is to have increasing income and decreasing stress. So having that baseline is high, but know when you create this plan that you're going to change. You're going to change your plans. Even if you have the greatest plan in the world, it's going to get messed up. And also, your spending is going to go down as you get older. Everyone says it's the opposite. As you get older, you spend more and more and more. No, at least not from my perspective. From my clients, I have clients 15 years. I've been watching them spend money. As you get older, you slow down. And that might be because you go on less trips. Maybe your spouse dies and now you're not doing as much. Or you just get older and physically you don't do as much. So you don't spend as much. And people say, well, I want to be physically fit and stay active. You'll figure out other ways to stay active without spending money.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, Tony. If you're driving down the highway and you're speeding down the highway, you're going the speed limit. Okay. You're going 70 miles an hour down 95 along the East Coast. And there's an accident up ahead. Warning signs. You see the lights. What do? What do most people do?
Slow down.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Here comes a crash.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be in traffic. Ooh, is there an exit? Let me get off. If not, I'm going to be stuck, right? What they don't do is go, well, I said I was going to go 70 miles an hour. That's the speed limit. Here we go. Come on, right? And plow through the accident. No. Same with retirement. You're going along. You're like, I'm going to go on a $5,000 vacation every year for the next 10 years. This is a part of my plan. I'm going to spend this much. This is my budget. And then all of a sudden, things go south. Family drama, some new cost comes in. Things get more expensive. What do people do? They don't hold their nose and say, well, I said I was going to spend it. I'm going to spend it. Yeah, I'm looking at my statement. It's down. I talked to my financial person. They said, oh, we're running low. We made to adjust. People don't just go, oh, well, I guess I'm going to be that that person that runs out of money. That's not what they do.
No.
They spend less.
Yeah.
They adjust.
Yeah. And people spend more when they first retire than as they go, too.
Yes. So they're not going to be like, oh, I'm spending, I love this so much, let me just keep doing it. People slow down naturally. They spend less naturally. But also, if things go south, people adjust their spending plans. That's what happens in reality. The plan might show a perfect linear line of increased spending, right? That's not life. I don't care if your financial advisor says, well, you could spend this much you won't do it because life gets in the way. So as soon as you can acknowledge that you're going to change, you're not going to just keep driving 70 miles per hour and hit that wall of broken down vehicles. You're going to slow down and of course adjust. That's life.
Yeah.
People just forget that. So they're projecting, they're extrapolating, and I'm going to run out. I'm afraid I'm going to run out. You won't. You'll just adjust.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle may not be exactly what you wanted, but you're not just going to spend your way into oblivion and wind up on the street.
But hopefully by that time you're in your 80s and you're slowing down anyway, and it won't really matter. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Which brings us to my last point, Tony. Yeah. This is a biggie. Accept that your house is an asset. You have to get over this mindset that my house is untouchable. That's where I live and whatever. It's over there. I'm not thinking about it. And a lot of people look at the house, financial people included, as the last resort. This is it. I'm down to my last penny.
That's what I hear from a lot of financial advisors. Like, you cannot count on your house for any type of income.
And that's crap.
I've heard that. In fact, I heard that from an advisor last week.
Of course. It's always the last resort. Why? Why is it a last resort? Because
you need it to live in, so you can't mess with it.
Correct.
That's
right.
Their,
you don't want to mess with it.
I think that's their only reasoning, or people's only reasoning for this mindset that people have about their home.
Right. And people that don't have a house, they're renting, the fear of running out of money, this obviously doesn't work for them.
No.
But for a lot of people, they have equity in their house and it's just forgotten. It's not even considered. Reverse mortgage, there's the 4-letter word.
Oh, yeah.
Think about, like, my parents bought their house in the 60s for $15,000, and my dad wound up selling it in 2020 for like $300 or $400, $350, something like that. But you know how many mortgages they took on that house to put us through college, to get through whatever times? They borrowed against it.
Sure.
People don't have a problem borrowing against the house, home equity line of credit, to do a renovation to pay it back.
Yeah.
But to use it for retirement, they clutch their pearls about it.
Mm-hmm.
Financial advisors, that's the last resort. Why?
Yeah, it's a great resource, and it's an asset you've built up. There's no really difference between the equity you put into your house that you have in your home and an amount you have in a stock or a bond, you invest, correct. You're putting money in and it's growing over time. And if you can't use that growth or that value that you've paid down what you owe, and now you have that equity, why not?
Why not? You could take a reverse mortgage. Who's going to pay it back? Oh my God, they're not going to take your house. You pay your taxes, you keep the house in good order.
Yeah.
No one's taking your house from you. That's the law.
Well,
it's regulated by the federal government.
Right. And the where that comes in is, and I've looked into this a lot, is where that fear came is, somebody did a reverse mortgage. They came and took their house. They didn't pay property taxes.
Right.
You got to pay your property. They can take your home if you fail to pay property taxes. I mean,
or maintain insurance on it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You have to have insurance. You have to pay for homeowners insurance and property taxes. You just don't have to pay.
If it's leaking, right?
You just don't have to pay your mortgage with a reverse mortgage. So.
Or you just take money out and borrow against it.
Yeah.
Or you downsize. Okay, I got a $400,000 house. I'm by myself. Maybe I can downsize and get a condo that gives me $100,000 of equity. Boom, there I go. Now I can use that to get through the next 5 years or 10 years. But this idea that the house is untouchable is just got to go, because that is a big asset. For a lot of people, it's their biggest asset. So why not use it as an asset? I'm not saying just, spend it willy-nilly. I'm talking about running out, right? This fear of running out, being on the street. Well, at least I got my house. Yeah, well, living in a house with $0, being house rich, I got 400,000 of equity, but I can't afford my medicine. No.
Yeah.
That's people are afraid of not being able to afford their medicine. You have 400,000 of equity in a house, do something with it.
Exactly.
That's,
Yeah.
So those are the big three.
Yeah, some people don't want to touch the house because they want to. That's what they want to leave to their children as inheritance, so their kids can at least have the money from the home. And I get that, but that's if you have enough money to live without the equity in your home, right?
And a newsflash, Tony, and this is just anecdotal from my clients.
Yeah.
Your kids don't want your house.
Nope.
And if you ask your kids, hey, what should I do with my money? They're not going to say, oh, don't spend it so I get an inheritance. Yeah, they'll say, spend it, be happy. Don't burden me. I'd rather you go spend and do stuff with your money and be happy than be miserable at family gatherings or have me coming over there and just having a big chunk of change left for when you die. It's your money, spend it. Right? Yeah. I don't want your Hummels. I don't want your house. Just get rid of them. Right. Spend it.
Yeah. People don't want your stuff. Your kids don't want your stuff. Unfortunately, you think everybody's going to want your stuff, and they don't.
They don't.
Yeah. Right. I've seen that with my grandfather when my parents moved into long-term care. I see it with so many people.
Everyone's situation is different, right? But for the most part, these three should really help you get over that fear. But you probably won't get over the fear, because it's real. It's, people really do it. But if you create a baseline income, you know that you're going to change. You're just not going to put your blinders on once you make that call. Oh man, I said I'm going to spend $4,000 a month. That's my budget. I'm not going to change it. You will. You'll change. Good or bad, you'll change. And then using that home equity, using your equity, considering your house that you have, probably your biggest asset. Consider it an asset to be used for you in your lifetime, not as something to pass on. Those three should eliminate the fear.
Yeah,
that's my guess. And if it doesn't eliminate the fear, go talk to somebody. Get a financial planner, someone that specializes in this, retirement planning, certified financial planner, to give you the numbers on paper. Sometimes seeing that helps. Mm-hmm. And the final little bonus tip, Tony, get a lifetime, get an income stream coming into your bank account. You might have this big chunk of money in your retirement, but if it's just sitting there and you never touch it, you'll always be fearful. But if you start getting that money coming monthly, it's like a paycheck. You start to feel like, oh, I could do this, right?
Yep.
That's the key. So anyway, those are the big three, Tony. I don't like when people are fearful of running out of money. I think it's an overblown fear. I'm not discounting it, but it doesn't have to be a huge burden on people.
Yeah.
And there's ways to get around it. So hopefully those will help you, listener. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Comment below. Tell us what else you want to talk about. Tell us if you're still fearful. Now maybe Tony and I will comment back with an extra bonus tip as well. Tony, thanks for a good show. We'll catch everyone next week.
All matters discussed in today's show are for informational purposes only.
This show is not investment advice.
Dan Riddle nor Dolphin Financial Group are affiliated or endorsed by any government agency.
Investment advisory services are offered through Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor in the state of Florida.
Insurance products and services are offered through Dolphin Insurance, Inc.
Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc. and Dolphin Insurance, Inc. are affiliated companies doing businesses as Dolphin Financial Group.
You should talk to someone at Dolphin Financial Group before implementing any of these strategies or ideas.